American stand-up comedian and actor Richard Franklin Lennox Thomas Pryor Sr. is regarded as one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. His stand-up specials made him one of the most admired comedians. His jokes were both loved and hated by the crowd. He was fearless and never shied away from controversial topics. Richard Pryor was a writer writing shows like Sanford and Son and The Richard Pryor Show. At the top of his career, he released several comedy albums which included Is It Something I Said? 1975, and Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip, 1982. Some of his films include Stir Crazy, 1980, Bustin' Loose, 1981, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, 1986, among others. By the time of his unfortunate death, Richard Pryor had an estimated net worth of $40 million. He earned his fortune from album sales, tour ticket sales, and salaries from a highly successful film and television career. Join us as we bring to you Richard Pryor, 7 marriages, children, controversies, relationships, mansion tour, car collection, and much more. Give us a like and subscribe to our channel to watch other interesting videos. Richard Pryor, born on December 1, 1940, in Peoria, Illinois. His mother, Gertrude Thomas, was a prostitute. His father, Leroy Buck Carter Pryor, was a former boxer, hustler, and pimp. His mother abandoned him when he was 10, and he was raised by his grandmother, Marie Carter, in a brothel run by his grandmother. He attended Peoria Central High School in Peoria, Illinois. After graduating from high school, he served in the United States Army from 1958 to 1960. He was released from the Army after beating up a white soldier. After being dismissed from the Army, he moved to New York City, where he began performing in clubs alongside Bob Dylan and Woody Allen. His big break came when he started appearing on television shows such as The Ed Sullivan Show and The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Initially, Pryor's style was relatively mild, drawing comparisons to Bill Cosby. However, a transformative period in the late 1960s and early 1970s saw him adopt a more raw and authentic voice, addressing race, politics, and personal experiences with unflinching honesty. Pryor's stand-up comedy albums, such as That Nigger's Crazy, 1974, Is It Something I Said? 1975, and Bicentennial Nigger, 1976, are considered landmarks in the genre. His routines, often peppered with profanity and candid reflections on his life, were groundbreaking for their time. Pryor's ability to tackle issues like racism, drug addiction, and his own vulnerabilities endeared him to audiences and critics alike, earning him 5 Grammy Awards for Best Comedy Album. Pryor's film career began in the late 1960s with roles in movies like Wild in the Streets, 1968, and Lady Sings the Blues, 1972. He gained wider recognition with his performances in the 1970s and 1980s, particularly in collaborations with Gene Wilder. Their chemistry was evident in box office hits like Silver Streak, 1976, Stir Crazy, 1980, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil, 1989. These films showcased Pryor's comedic brilliance and his ability to create unforgettable characters. Beyond comedy, Pryor demonstrated his dramatic acting skills in films such as Blue Collar, 1978, directed by Paul Schrader, and JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, 1986, which he also directed and co-wrote. These roles allowed Pryor to explore more serious themes and solidified his reputation as a versatile actor. Pryor's television career included appearances on popular shows like Saturday Night Live and The Richard Pryor Show, a short-lived but influential variety series that aired in 1977. Though it lasted only 4 episodes, The Richard Pryor Show pushed the boundaries of television comedy with its bold sketches and Pryor's fearless performances. His television work further cemented his status as a trailblazer in comedy. Throughout his career, Pryor received numerous accolades, reflecting his contributions to comedy and entertainment. In addition to his Grammy Awards, he won 2 American Academy of Humor Awards and an Emmy Award for his writing on The Lily Tomlin Show in 1974. In 1998, he was honored with the first-ever Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, a testament to his lasting influence on the field of comedy. Richard Pryor became the first black actor to earn $1 million for a film role with his performance in 1980's Stir Crazy. In 1983, he signed a 5-year, $40 million contract with Columbia Pictures and simultaneously launched his own production company, Indigo Productions. That same year, Pryor earned $4 million for his role in the critically panned Superman 3. Adjusted for inflation, this is equivalent to earning $10 million today, making him one of the highest-paid actors in the world at that time. Health struggles and personal life. Pryor's life was marred by struggles with substance abuse, a tumultuous personal life, and serious health issues. In 1980, he suffered severe burns in an accident involving freebasing cocaine, an incident that he later incorporated into his comedy. Despite these challenges, he continued to perform and create, demonstrating resilience and an unwavering commitment to his craft. In the late 1980s, Pryor was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a degenerative disease that gradually impacted his mobility and speech. Despite his declining health, he continued to make public appearances and perform, inspiring many with his determination and courage. Richard Pryor passed away on December 10, 2005, from a heart attack at the age of 65 at his house in Los Angeles. His death marked the end of a prolific and often controversial career that had a profound impact on comedy and entertainment. Richard Pryor was cremated, and his ashes were given to his family. His ashes were scattered in the bay at Hana, Hawaii, by his widow in 2019. Richard Pryor's legacy is one of bravery, innovation, and unfiltered truth. His ability to find humor in the darkest aspects of his life and society, and to share that humor with the world, broke down barriers and set new standards for comedians who followed. His influence can be seen in the work of countless comedians who cite him as an inspiration, including Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle. Pryor's work remains relevant and influential, a testament to his genius and his willingness to confront difficult truths with humor and humanity. He once said, "I live in racist America, and I'm uneducated, yet a lot of people love me and like what I do, and I can make a living from it. You can't do much better than that." Richard Pryor not only made a living, he made a difference, leaving an indelible mark on the world of comedy and beyond. Personal life. Richard Pryor, the legendary comedian and actor, had a tumultuous personal life marked by 7 marriages to 5 different women. His complex relationships reflected the chaos and passion that characterized much of his life and career. Richard Pryor's first marriage was to Patricia Price. They married in 1960 and had a son named Richard Pryor Jr. before divorcing in 1961. This brief marriage came early in Pryor's career, as he was just beginning to make a name for himself in the comedy scene. Pryor married Shelley Bonus, an actress, in 1967. The couple had a daughter named Elizabeth. Their marriage lasted until 1969, ending as Pryor's career was gaining significant momentum and he was beginning to struggle with substance abuse. In 1977, Pryor married actress and model Deborah McGuire. Their union was short-lived, ending in divorce in 1978. This period was marked by Pryor's rising fame in stand-up comedy and film. Pryor's fourth marriage was to actress and interior designer Jennifer Lee in 1981. They divorced a year later in 1982. Despite their initial separation, Jennifer would play a significant role in Pryor's life later on. Pryor married actress Flynn Boulain twice. Their first marriage lasted from 1986 to 1987, and they remarried in 1990 before divorcing again in 1991. They had 2 children together, Stephen and Kelsey. Pryor remarried Jennifer Lee in 2001, and they remained together until his death in 2005. Jennifer Lee became his caregiver as he battled multiple sclerosis, and she was by his side during his final years. Pryor's marriages, much like his comedy, were marked by intensity and complexity. Despite the turmoil, he remained a beloved figure, with his personal experiences often fueling his raw and relatable comedic material. Richard Pryor children. Richard Pryor, the iconic comedian and actor, was not only known for his groundbreaking work in comedy, but also for his complex personal life, which included being a father to 7 children. Each of his children came from different relationships, reflecting the diverse and often tumultuous nature of his personal life. Richard Pryor Jr. is the eldest son of Richard Pryor, born to his first wife, Patricia Price. Richard Jr. has followed in his father's footsteps to some extent, pursuing a career in entertainment as an actor and a performer. His relationship with his father was complicated, influenced by Pryor's early career struggles and personal challenges. Elizabeth Pryor, often referred to as Rain, is the daughter of Richard Pryor and his second wife, Shelley Bonus. Rain Pryor has established herself as an actress and comedian, drawing on her rich heritage and personal experiences. She has written and performed in her own autobiographical one-woman show, Fried Chicken and Latkes, which reflects on her multicultural background and her father's legacy. Steve Pryor is the son of Richard Pryor and his fifth wife, Flynn Belaine. Steve has kept a relatively low profile compared to some of his siblings, and little public information is available about his professional endeavors. Kelsey Pryor is also a child of Richard Pryor and Flynn Belaine. Like her brother Steve, Kelsey has chosen to live a life away from the public eye, and there is limited information about her in the media. Frank Pryor. Born from a relationship Richard Pryor had with an unnamed woman before his rise to fame, Frank Pryor is one of Pryor's lesser-known children. Details about Frank's life and his relationship with his father are sparse. Mason Pryor is another son of Richard Pryor, born to an unnamed woman. Mason has followed in his father's footsteps to become a stand-up comedian, working to carve out his own identity while dealing with the pressures of his father's legacy. Renee Pryor is the daughter of Richard Pryor and an unnamed woman. She is Pryor's eldest child, born before his first marriage. Renee has written about her experiences growing up with Richard Pryor as her father and has spoken publicly about the challenges and privileges that came with being his daughter. Real estate investments. In 1974, Richard Pryor purchased a 2.2-acre estate at 17267 Parthenia Street in Northridge, California. This property became infamous in 1980 when Pryor, after freebasing cocaine, doused himself with rum and set himself on fire. In a frantic attempt to extinguish the flames, he ran down the street until the police intervened and subdued him. Pryor sustained severe burns, covering more than 50% of his body. The estate suffered further tragedy in 1994 when the main mansion was destroyed by the Northridge earthquake. Years later, in 2017, NFL player Rashard Mendenhall purchased the property for $2.5 million. Mendenhall listed the estate for sale in March 2024 with an asking price of $4.2 million. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.